Welcome to the Misfit Squad podcast,
where we invite you to embrace your difference and to discover a spectrum of possibilities and change what's wrong about you into what is strong about you.
Hey guys, today we're following up with our series on relationships for the lovely, amazing month of February for Valentine's Day. And so today we want to talk about our body and conversations to enhance our relationship with your body. Have you ever taken a moment to converse with your body? Does your body actually communicate with you? If your body could talk to you, what would it say? So today we're just going to share a few tips that your body would like you to know.
So perhaps we should cover the fact that we should start to answer those people who are like, I can't talk to my body. My body doesn't talk.
You're like, what are you talking about?
What do you say about that, Trina?
Well, first of all, acknowledge that you actually have a body. Because a lot of people, we walk around and we don't even acknowledge that we have this presence or this being called a body. But we do. So we have our mind and we have what we would call our being, which allows us to get all this wonderful input. But we also have a consciousness with our body. Our body is willing to be our buddy if we're willing to receive it. So yeah, your body isn't going to actually like come out and say, hey dude, man, what's up? It is not going to probably use words to talk to you, but it talks to you in so many ways, whether that's like through sensations and like how you like the touch. But it also gives you so many different signals and whispers, but if you're not willing to listen to them, you don't hear it.
Or if you don't listen, it just talks louder and louder and louder. For example, a pain in your foot or cramps or, you know, an itch, all of that's actually information that your body's sharing with you, right? And so certain things, if we have like a thing in our side and we're like, whatever, like just get over it. It gets like worse and worse and worse until, I don't know, you go see the chiropractor or the acupuncturist or you stretch, right? That's your body telling you there's a thing happening here. Could you please take care of it? Right?
Or like when you get a headache,
right?
Or even like a stomach ache, you eat something and then your stomach is all like bloated and puffy and gassy, and like that's your body talking to you if you're willing to actually ask a question about it. Yes.
Well, it's actually your body talking to you regardless of whether or not you're willing to ask a question about it. The difference is if you're willing to have a conversation with your body and ask a question, then you can change it with a lot of ease instead of a handful of antacids.
Very, very, very true. So the first thing I would say is really to acknowledge your body and be grateful. Like every morning you can get up and look, when you look in the mirror, instead of looking in the mirror and being like, oh my God, like I look awful today. I am so puffy, or I've got like 5 more wrinkles. What if you actually were grateful? And even if you found one thing you're grateful for, oh my gosh, thank you, body, that I have such amazing long hair. Whatever it is, it could be something simple. Thank you, body, for having big eyes. Anything. So, because judgment and gratitude cannot coexist. So the more that you're grateful for your body, the less judgment you will have.
That is correct.
So stop judging your body.
Right. So like for all of you out there who like think your body's just like a giant skin sack, you have to like stuff your being into every day, right? And it's just this like thing that you have to like drag around or put on or like deal with it. Like if you can just say, even if you can't, like you don't like your hair, you don't like your nose, or you don't like your eyes or whatever, even if it's just like, thank you for breathing and being with me here today.
Yeah.
I mean, it can really be to start that simple.
Yes. Thank you that my heart is beating.
Yep.
Thank you that blood is pumping through my body. Yes. Thank you that my skin can actually feel myself. And so to help increase your relationship with your body, one of the things that you can do to start actually conversing with it is ask questions. So your body is basically willing to do almost anything you ask it or do it. It just does it whether you ask or not. But
Yeah,
it becomes a lot more easy to start asking. Yeah,
our bodies don't inherently have a point of view like we do, right? So your body will pretty much do whatever you ask it.
Right.
Get fatter, get thinner, don't, whatever.
But when we talk about being a being, like however you want to explain that, as a spirit or a being, you are not, the being is not the one eating. Your body is the one eating. So your body does sometimes have a preference for what kind of flavors or taste that it likes. But instead, we usually just shove something down our throat. So you can start off by asking something like, hey, body, what would you like to eat? What sounds yummy? So if you walk into a restaurant, for instance, and you're going to order something, go to the menu, open up the menu, and just ask the question, hey, body, what would you like to eat? And then just kind of allow your eyes to float wherever. And the first thing that pops out of the page is usually your body like being, hey, try this. So that's a great little tool to start playing with it and asking your body what it would like to eat and see what pops. Or you could go to, and with that being said, it may not be something that you would normally eat. It might be something you're like, I don't like that.
Right. So then you want to look, like, as a good example for that is like, then look at the sides that come with it. Cause it might be that your body wants the broccolini that comes with it and not the pork chop or the fish.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if you get, if it comes with like bread and butter or something, maybe you don't even want the bread. Maybe your body just wants the butter, which sounds crazy, but sometimes our body craves like stuff like salt, and it could be the salt in the butter. Yes. Yeah. You can also like go to the refrigerator if you're at home and open up the refrigerator and be like, okay, so out of this refrigerator, whatever is available, body, what would you like to eat? What sounds good? And then just see kind of where your eyes go or if something jumps out at you.
Yep.
That's kind of how you start.
Yep, that's a good way to start.
Yeah. And you can play with it because you can be like, oh yeah, I want ice cream or something. And so you eat ice cream and then you ask again and you're like, yeah, I want ice cream. That may not be your body talking to you. It might actually be your head. And the more you eat it, then you finally eat so much that you throw up. Then you know that was not.
I was going to say, so then also like pay attention to what you're eating and then how you feel later, you know, because like to use a good example, a lot of people don't like bell peppers, or if you're elsewhere in the world, we call it capsicum. So if you don't like that, and like it makes you like burp and stuff later, like if you eat something and later you're like that's usually a sign that it wasn't really, you know, what your body wanted. I was going to say something else about that.
Or if you're eating something and it's so amazing and it tastes delicious,
good one.
It's just so yummy. And then you get to the point where then it kind of starts tasting like blah. Like sometimes you could eat, like I've done this like with eating like chips or crackers or something. It's like kind of addictive. And then you like eat so many and then you're all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this just tastes like cardboard. Like that's usually your body being like, I'm done. Quit stuffing freaking chips in my mouth.
And I just have to add a slight caveat to that. You do want to, when you start to play with this, you want to be willing to be more aware, because I have, especially with the food thing, for some reason, like the body can sort of start to talk like really loudly. So sometimes for me, that whole like, it doesn't start to taste like cardboard. One bite tastes amazing, and the next bite is so bad I have to like spit it out. So also, then, you know, when that starts to happen a lot, ask your body to like give you the information more subtly.
Yes.
Right. So these are all nuances of how you can do it, right? It's not like super cookie cutter. You have to play with it and then
Yes.
see how
So
it
your
shows up for
body,
you.
once you start asking, your body will give you information. So you can ask for it to show up with a lot of ease. So it's not like getting hit by a 2x4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not accidentally gagging all the time.
Oh, and you could also ask, another great question is, like your body typically likes to move. But we so many times have conclusions or points of views or something on like what that should look like, versus just asking your body like, okay, body, would you like to go for a walk today? Would you like to go do yoga? Would you like to, I don't know, do karate, go ice skating, go weightlifting, whatever it may be, or it could just be stretching.
Yeah, like what kind of movement do you want to do today?
Yeah, do you want to go horseback riding? Any of that. But ask your body and see what starts to pop. And I don't know, do you have a good explanation of what I mean, Kim, when I'm saying like when something pops?
Let's see. Well, like there is that funny thing, and you've all had this where like for me, like sometimes like to use the restaurant menu example, sometimes like it's like I can actually only one thing is in focus. It's like I literally like sort of can't see the other stuff. Or sometimes it pops by like a random thought pops into my head, or suddenly like I see something over here. Like it happens a lot of different ways. And again, the more you ask and are willing to see it show up, then the more obvious it shows up in more and more obvious ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it also can just show up like for instance, if I was asking about movement, like if I go ask between two different things, like one of the choices just might feel like a lot more fun and a lot more ease than that, versus like something that's kind of like drudgery.
Right. And I just want to say one other thing, like you're also not like stuck to like what it says in terms of, especially like for me, like this, I use this both times, like especially around food, but like also for movement. Sometimes it's like I still just don't want to eat the thing that it wants to eat, or I don't want to order that thing or pay that much on the menu, whatever. Like there's just reasons. And so then you're like, you know, okay, like, well, what else would work? You know? And a lot of times I'm like, okay, this or this. Okay, these two, okay, you know, and then sometimes it doesn't matter, or sometimes it's like, okay, well, I really wanted this, but because sometimes what happens for me is as I'm just waiting to like get a table or get the menu, I'll sort of like ask my body what it wants to eat. And then I have an idea, and then it's not really available on the menu.
Right.
So then I have to be like, okay, well then like what else? What else will work?
Yeah. Your body is typically usually willing to accommodate you.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it has for most of your life. It just makes it a lot easier when you start conversing and having that connection or communication with your body, because you can get, I mean, it can be like less pain, just like less of that density, like you're freaking dragging around something with you. Let it contribute to you.
Yeah.
Like one of the other things you could ask is like, typically our bodies like to have sensual, like caring, kind touch. You could ask how that shows up. Maybe that's like ask your body what it likes. Maybe that's like putting on lotion, or I don't know, like some people powder themselves. It could be that you just like to take a bath like every so often and soak. Those kinds of things. Like start being like, okay, body, what do you like in terms of like being caressed, being kind, being sensual.
Yeah. I mean, there's really no limit to what you can, if your body's related, if your body's involved in any way, there's no limit to what clothes do you want to wear, I mean, like you can take it to like a crazy place, and also there's nothing that you can't do with it. Yeah. Really, like any subject matter related to the body, you can ask questions like we're talking about and get awareness and information.
Yep. Another great one is like, hey body, what would you like to wear? And going into your closet and be like, okay, what do you want to wear today? And the same thing, like letting your body, your eyes or something gaze and let it stops at whatever that is. Or maybe you actually feel the different textures of your clothing and you're like, oh, that one. And sometimes, like, I don't know, I've had days when I have put on clothes and I think I've put on like 4 different things because I was like, okay, I'm obviously not listening to my body. And I put this on and I'm super uncomfortable. And then I take it off, and when I go find something else that it really likes, it's so much, it's just ease. Like, it's just comfortable. I feel like I can move around. So asking your body also what it would like to wear.
And on that note, we've given you tons of questions and lots of ways to play. And that's it for now. We probably will do a gazillion shows on this because we could talk about this really for hours and hours and hours.
Yes. But yeah, really just start asking and just being aware and play with those few things that we gave you and see how much that can enhance your relationship with your body.
Yep. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us on this episode of the Misfit Squad podcast. See you later.
See you next week. Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to the show.
Our target is to make your awareness easy to use and to acknowledge the power of not fitting in.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube and share it with someone you know.
Why fit in when you were born to stand out?
Embrace your difference. Join the Misfit Squad.